D&D Beyond now fits in the palm of your hand with the free D&D Beyond app. It's the perfect tool set for beginners, regular players, and seasoned dungeon masters. Play faster with the guided character creator and access your character sheets, spells, and abilities wherever you go. All of your adventures and source books are at your fingertips, even when you're offline. Easily find and access the rules you need when you need them. With more features to come, download the free D&D Beyond app today.
Hello world, welcome back to another D&D Beyond update, and I guess welcome back to the D&D Beyond dev update. We were gone for 2 weeks. We had some illness, we had some conflicts, we had some Gen Con. It's all behind us now. We're back here to update you on all the devs. Thank you guys for being here. If it's your first time joining us and you're like, I don't know what a D&D Beyond is, D&D Beyond is a digital tool set that makes playing D&D a lot easier and a lot more fun. So registering's for free. Come check it out. And this is the show where we update you on the continuous progress we're making in our mission to make D&D accessible to everyone, so that you can spend a lot less time tinkering and prepping and more time just like playing and enjoying yourself and telling your stories with your friends. All that said, cool show today. Pretty quick roadmap today. Then we're going to get into some updates to the character builder from Wild Beyond the Witchlight with our own Julie Hawkins, friend of the show. And then we're going to do a little Q&A with her, mostly focused. She's on, so yeah, her focus is like character sheet, character builder. So get your questions about the character sheet and then the builder in there for Julie. If you want to ask her about the combat tracker, I'm sure she'll take the question, but the answer is probably, I don't work on that. So, shoot your shot to the appropriate bullseye. All that said, let's jump into our roadmap. Also, hi, I'm Joe. I'm I don't know, the content clown over here at D&D Beyond. I jump on the camera and I do my best to explain to you the incredibly cool things that are much wiser, much more valuable, much smarter devs are doing behind the scenes. I'm usually joined by my co-pilot, Melly. She's a little under the weather today. Start feeling better soon, buddy. This feels very weird to do without you. All that said, let's jump into the roadmap. Wild Beyond the Witchlight on sale now. Just dropped this week. It's 5th edition's first official full foray into the Feywild. I did not mean all that alliteration, but that's how my brain works, I guess. Super cool book. Make sure you check it out. A ton of really fun Easter eggs and callbacks and throwbacks and nods to tons and tons of old D&D lore. So definitely make sure you check that out. Of course, includes the thing I've been waiting for, which is the Harengon, our playable rabbit folk race. Very stoked for that. Very stoked to make my make my Usagi Ojimbo character. Very stoked to make my my Vera character from Final Fantasy 12. Very, very excited about that. So that's going to be super fun. Wizards of the Coast blessing us with an abundance of books over the next couple months. So up next, Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, available for pre-order now. Strixhaven, A Curriculum of Chaos, available for pre-order now. And then, as usual, with our books on the D&D Beyond marketplace for pre-ordering, you'll get cool pre-order perks. So dice, frames, backdrops, that kind of cool stuff. So keep an eye out for that as it comes. Also available, you can jump in there and play with it, is containers and inventory management. So finally, your backpack actually means something. On the D&D Beyond character sheet, you can open that backpack, you can pull stuff out of it, you can put stuff into it, you can create custom containers, and really just get your stuff organized into other stuff. If I wanted to say it very poetically. So we are super excited about that. And of course, that feature will be growing and changing over time, but we're super stoked to have it out and available for you guys to be able to play with. And then rollable hit dice on the character sheet, so super excited about that as well. You take that short rest, you need to roll to find out how many hit points re-earned. Sorry, I don't know why I'm Jeff Goldbluming so much on that. I was like, I don't know how to end that sentence. Rollable hit dice are a thing now. Very excited about that. Coming soon. I'm gonna take a quick sip coffee from my great mug. Coming soon. First off, subscription management improvements on the site itself. Maybe not the sexiest thing in the world, but it is something a lot of people have been asking for. How can I adjust my subscription? How can I like easily extend or, God forbid, cancel? Stay with us. But, if you want to make those changes to your subscription, I want to go from hero to master, master to hero, whatever. Those improvements are coming to the site. They are in progress. So again, not like the craziest gameplay update, but we want to make this the D&D Beyond experience really solid for you guys from a 360 sort of degree view. October subscribe perks are coming. These are actually super fun. We did a poll on the tweeters to sort of see what kind of portrait frames you guys would like. So what kind of like Halloween themed character sheet portrait frames you would want. And we've taken those winners and we've animated some really, really cool frames. I don't think they're ready for prime time for you guys to see quite yet. But as soon as they are, we'll make sure that we're previewing them on the dev update because they're pretty fun. I'm pretty stoked about those. The team's pretty excited about them. I definitely think we'll be doing a lot more polls like that for monthly perks because I think having you guys sort of involved in that creativity really sparked like a lot of really cool ideas and some really fun stuff. So I definitely think that is going to be a continual thing, just purely based on the level of fun that the team had getting those together and making them. We've got some updates coming for our character sheet decor management. Julie, who will be on in a little bit on the stream, has demoed that for us, demoed that during our anniversary week. So that kind of stuff is still in process. That is, by that kind of stuff, I apologize. I mean, that's going to be a much easier interface to update your backdrop, to update your avatar, your portrait frame, your theme, even your character's name. So it's just like a much more sort of intuitive and clean sort of layout for making those changes. Also coming soon, our shared inventory. We talked a little bit about that, demoed that a little bit during our anniversary week a few weeks back as well. Right now, you can put stuff into other stuff, but pretty soon you're going to be able to put stuff into other stuff that's someone else's stuff. So we're really excited about that, being able to pass items from party member to party member. And even, passing items into like a communal party inventory. We are super stoked about that, really giving the accountant at your table a bit of a break. So yeah, they're going to have to find, just something new to do with that steno pad and that pencil. New lists to make. So, as that feature rolls out, make sure that your table accountant, feels heard, feels cared about, feels appreciated, and has something new to move on to. Also coming soon, this is really neat. Super excited about this. In our mobile app, we will be dropping a campaign view. So super excited about this. I know this one gets asked for quite a bit. There's a question about this almost every week on the dev update. Here's what I can tell you about it now. Here's what I have been approved to tell you about this upcoming feature, because there's some really cool stuff coming and it's still in progress, and we don't want to spill all our beans just yet. So just to tease it out a little bit, with the new campaign view, you're going to be able to see the list of not only your characters that are in your party, but also your campaigns. So when you open a campaign, you're going to see the game log for that campaign, the list of characters in that campaign with certain, sort of standout and important stat blocks like passive senses, HP, armor class, and condition. So you're going to have all of that sort of, as a quick reference when you're DMing using the app. So super stoked about that. The DM of the campaign is also going to be able to tap a character on that view and sort of preview their character sheet. So if you need to do a deep dive into a player's sheet, which playing with new players, sometimes you have to do a lot. It's like if someone's like, I don't know sort of where that is, and we're playing remotely, maybe. Sometimes it's just really helpful for me to just be able to jump into their sheet and like help them walk through it, stuff like that. Or sometimes, just as a DM, you're like, is it time for the cursed sword to really like come back and bite everybody in the ass? And like, oh shoot, who has the cursed sword? What are the stat blocks on the cursed sword? So, sometimes it's easier and helpful to just be able to dive into their character sheet like that. Those are some of the features that are going to be rolling out with this campaign view on the mobile app. Super stoked about it. We're definitely going to keep you guys updated on what's coming, all that good stuff. I'm sure we'll have David in soon to actually sort of talk through it, show it off a little bit, demo it hopefully in the coming weeks. But super stoked about that. Circling us all the way back to Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Again, we had a book drop this week that included some changes to the character builder process, which we have also updated in our character builder experience. And to talk us through it a little bit is our very own Julie Hawkins. Julie, get in here. She's coming.
Hey.
Here we go. Hey, dude.
Hey.
Welcome back to the show. It's good. It's good. It's always good to have you. Thank you so much. I know that you guys are always busy, always slammed. So I always appreciate you guys carving out a few minutes to chat with us. Let's dive in. Let's talk. Thanks, dude. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, it's kind of like cutting class a little bit. And yeah. Come hang out with the only kid here that doesn't have a real job.
Cool
so
kids,
let's talk. Yeah, the cool kids. Yeah, come smoke cigarettes with me in the senior patio. Let's talk Wild Beyond the Witchlight and changes to the character builder, and then at the end, let's do like 10 minutes of Q&A with the gang, and then I'll set you free. Sound good?
Perfect. Sounds great. Yeah. So
all right, cool.
For this book release, so Wild Beyond the Witchlight, we did some changes to help support the new races that came with this awesome book. So, Fairy and Harengon, like you've already mentioned, and there's been a lot of excitement to get those into gameplay and create awesome characters. And we wanted to, support that play the best we could with the character builder so that, we can, support how the official Fairy and Harengon are presented by this book. So if we look at the character builder and on our beautiful race choose page, so where we can look through all the races to choose, let's go ahead and take a look at one of the new ones.
All right. This is my first Harengon experience on DDB, so I'm very excited. I hadn't had time to mess with it yet, so super stoked.
Cool. So, you see your little modal here that lets you know what you're kind of in for with this choice. And one of the first things that you might notice is different is we have a little blurb at the top before all of your racial traits are listed with our little D&D Beyond red bookmark logo there. And this is just a little piece of information to let you know that there are some things that you might be used to seeing here that are just on a different location. These races, they follow more of the origins patterns that Tasha's laid out previously, where the ability score increases and the languages are more of an origin trait versus attached as a racial trait to those races. So just some information to let you know, if you make this choice, there are a few small changes coming up your way as you build this character out. So let's go ahead and choose a Harengon.
Let's do it.
Awesome. So here we are, we've made our choice. And again, you can see we're calling this Beyond Helper text as a little name for that area. So again, just iterating. You may be used to making your choices for ability scores here, but don't worry, continue building your character and you will be able to make those choices. But Harengon, you get to make a size choice. So do you want to be a little bunny or a medium-sized bunny?
I think in this case, we're gonna make this bunny small.
Love it.
Yeah,
All
we're going
right.
little, and
So we'll
there's all
go
our culinary
over.
stuff like hair trigger.
Yeah. So we can choose a class because why not? We're building a character, and we may as well, even though Witchlight changes don't apply to this section. But let's go ahead and pick an awesome class for our little bunny.
My friend, you're our guest. What's your favorite class?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I love
Small question.
warlocks, so that's my choice. Little bunny
All right, let's
warlock.
do it.
All
Little bunny
right. So
warlock.
as expected, we could go through and make some initial choices on our warlock, but we can always come back to this page because our builder lets us move around a little bit. We don't have to follow a specific flow. So let's head on over to the next screen where we see our ability scores. So here we have to choose an ability score method, but we have a newbie here in this area. This is the ability score increases that come along with the choice of Harengon. So as I mentioned before, Witchlight, the way that these races are laid out, the ability score increase isn't tied to the Harengon specifically, but you are able to make your ability score choices for this character build as the Witchlight rules kind of lay out for you in that section. So we can determine our ability scores, and these ones I believe give you a choice of 2 to 1 and 1 to another, or 1 to 3 different scores. So let's choose.
I'm going 2 to 1.
All right.
I'm going 2 and 1. So that 2's probably
Well,
got to be my charisma, right, for a warlock?
I think so. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Let's
and
go ahead.
then just some dexterity because it's a small bunny. Gotta be fast.
Yep, love it. All right. So there's one more change on this page that's worth noting. If you scroll up from here, you will see listed towards the top. And if you actually go ahead and make a choice for your generation method, if we're creating a
Oh,
full
gotcha.
character, yeah. So it doesn't matter which type we choose, but we've included the total for each of our scores underneath where you select and make your initial base score choice. So that was previously not there. What that kind of helps is when you're building your character, you get ability score modifiers from all types of sources in the game. But when you're on this page, in order to see what your total score is, you have to scroll down and take a look at that chart that sort of lays out the breakdown for you, which is very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not able to see that total score in an easy place. So we've corrected that, and that total score is available on all races across the game. So just
That's
a
awesome. I
little
love that.
extra help to let you know your total is different than your base score, and there may be more information there giving you that full number. So
This is all so much more smooth and intuitive than my pitch, which was our version of Clippy, which was an animated talking bee, letter B, that appears in the bottom corner of the screen and sings, which no one has gotten
still
on
a
board with
valid
yet. So this is
solution.
thank you. I'm glad that you've got my back at the very least. In the meantime, though, this is much less irritating. So well done.
Yay, awesome. All right, so next page is description, and as with many origin or race choices, you get languages. And so with this build, the languages again are more of an origin choice versus attached as a racial trait. So we've moved it over to this description area where you choose your background and other details about your character. So here you have a language choice. You get common as well as another choice with Harengon.
I always get very caught up on, I actually do really appreciate that, like, they've just done like the shift into like, no, this is more a part of like where you grew up maybe and stuff like that. Cause it's just made it an easier decision to make for some reason. Like it always felt like weird and extra before,
Yeah,
your
I
additional
get
language.
really into the backstories of my characters. I
Hmm.
spend maybe too much time on that, but I really enjoy this aspect and this change of allowing the language and other things about your character to maybe be influenced by things that your character went through before they are on this adventure with this party. So versus just like the base idea of what that race might
Hmm.
be. So
And in this case, something went real weird in this background, and my little
oh,
Harengon speaks Abyssal.
I love. Well, it's a warlock, little Harengon. Of course, it knows how to speak Abyssal. Of course.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
So that basically takes us through the changes that are expected for the Witchlight races. It gets you, to the point where you can make all the choices that you need to make in order to play and to play those characters. We've also created the same flow that we just walked through for the lineages, the Dampier, Hexblood, and I can't remember the other one. So that you should see changing as well. The ability score increases and languages will no longer appear in the racial traits list, and they will appear in these respective areas. So it makes a lot more sense for the way that those lineages were laid out and that the rules, um, for how those, what we're calling just basically sort of the new origin rules, more or less, which are moving things away from attached to the race and more just part of a character build. So
Totally. Awesome. Well, yeah, I know. I love to see sort of itself, sort of uh, like evolving smoothly along with that, because I know that an entire system has been built. So then when rules come in that like start to challenge like this entire like engine that you guys built, it's really cool to just watch the ways that you guys kind of like stick and move to figure out changes and how to update it and upgrade it. And yeah, no, it's super awesome. I appreciate you walking me through it.
of course, yeah, little, just like you said, little challenges like this will come up, and they seem like sort of a simple thing, but because we've built systems the way we have, sometimes it's a matter of either uh, more or less untangling some things that have become tangled over time, or in this case, it was just developing um, kind of a simple solution that sits on top of the current one so that we can move things around. And this will work well for any changes that may come down the line in this same regard. So, we saw with Tasha's optional origins, things like proficiencies, languages, and ability scores, being able to swap those out. And so what we've built to support Witchlight, I believe we've built it in a way that we can support what we're thinking may come down the line with some of these UA races that they're experimenting with. So it's really exciting to see it, come down the line, and also just to offer these really cool choices for character builds and kind of inspire a little bit more. Just putting your personal touch on these things, for instance, like we were talking about with the languages. So it's I think good changes and good challenges for the team too.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, I think from a creative side, I think approaching it like this is a little more intuitive, which I absolutely love. And yeah, I think look, I'm biased. I work with you guys every day, but I think the approach you took and the way you set it up in the character builder is is perfect. So no, I absolutely love it. Um, Couple of questions from the chat. The first one is not a you question, but it's being asked a lot. So I will try to answer it. GK Smith LCW says, "Is the Domains of Delight product recently released to the DMs Guild going to be available through D&D Beyond?" Awesome question. A few people are asking this one. Not at this time. I just want to say I love that they're releasing it. I love the charity play for it. I think that's super super awesome. Not our call to make if we receive it or not. So that's more on the publisher side. If we're able to provide that extension to Wild Beyond the Witchlight, I'd love it. I think it's going to be a really cool book. But there we go. So yeah, not at this time. Not really our call. But you know, if we can help support a good cause, uh, definitely, definitely no resistance from D&D Beyond's end to that. Let's see here. Luigi Green 84 asks, and Julie, the larger question might even be a little bit, sort of how do you connect and work with the app team? Because while they are separate teams, a lot of the style and approach that you guys take, there's so much overlap, and I'm assuming kind of communication that has to go back and forth. But Luigi Green 84 asks, when can we expect customization, so themes, frames, backdrops, etc., on our character sheet for the mobile app?
Great question. Yeah, and so I can't speak for the timelines for the mobile app because it is a separate team than the team that
Mhm.
I'm with, the characters team, where we work on the web app and character sheet and builder. But as always, we're trying to work in tandem with the mobile apps so that we can offer a lot of the same things at the same time, that there's sort of a congruent experience for everybody across, and you can switch between mobile web or mobile app or desktop, and sort of it's not a totally different world that you're in. As far as customizations, I know that is part of the roadmap for mobile. I don't have a projected, when, which is very typical of us. We don't often give dates or anything like that. But it is on the roadmap, and you should be able to see, more and more of that type of stuff become available. Um, as far as speaking for, we actually very recently have had some uh, closer meetings with the mobile team so that we have the ability to share more code between our two teams
Hmm.
as well. So, just kind of speaking to the second part of that question, we're always trying to find ways to be more efficient, to, move quicker and get things out faster for you all. Something interesting is the mobile team actually is mostly located all in Poland. And so time differences really make a huge challenge for how we can meet up and chat with and discuss these things. But because we work in a digital remote world, we find ways to do these things and get everything done for you all. Um, so yeah, expect, as always, expect to see more and more features come out for a mobile app. Specifically, right now, they are really working hard on the
Hmm.
inventory sharing and inventory management, just as we are. So that's sort of our big push right now to get that all out for you. Also,
Awesome. No, so just to continue a string of, I have no softballs for you today. I apologize. Um, just sort of some kind of cool, interesting questions.
sure.
Joey Castaldo asked, can we get labels to customize character race name, racial features, and class features? Is that, I don't think I've ever been in a room when we've even discussed something like that. Is that something
Hmm.
that's ever been on the table? Like, does the team have any thoughts on doing things like that?
Yeah, so I'm not totally sure what they mean by labels, but what I'm assuming is just the ability to sort of rename things on your sheet that come inherently with your
Yeah.
character build.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
this
wondering if,
is
yeah, it's like I want to mod Harengon to Rabbit Man
right.
or something like that.
Rename some of the racial traits exactly so that it kind of fits the flavor more for your game, your party, your idea. We are This customization element is like very high on our list when we think about anything that we're doing, because it's the nature of the pen and paper game that we're trying to really, really emulate as best possible in this digital tool. And pen and paper, you can cross it out, you can white out, you can rename whatever you want. So um, there is some discussion specifically around like racial features and class features. There's sometimes some concern is brought up about not wanting to confuse new players and make sure that
Mhm.
what's inherently content from D&D stays true to the content that we are representing. So that's a little bit part of the conversation, but overall, this is something that we are going to be able to work out. We don't have a timeline. We're not specifically focused on these customizations, but I can almost I can almost strongly say that yes, there will be a time where you will be able to rename, say your racial traits or your class features on your sheet, so that it fits your flavor.
Sweet. I've
Yeah,
got two more for you, and then I'll let you go. Does that sound good?
sure. Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Mark the Cork asked, are you going to move the Tasha's ASI optional feat block into the ability score section of the builder also? And I guess sort of a larger question, from that, as we're integrating a lot more of these, of like the Tasha's rules and, moving into like the idea of like origin over like concrete race traits and stuff like that. I guess, sort of what are some things that might happen to evolve the character builder in the future, like the optional feat block Mark's talking about?
Yeah, this is a great question. There will be some work to get all of the Tasha's optional choices moved into their sort of appropriate sections. And ultimately, what we'd really like to do is make it so that if you want to opt into these optional things, you don't have to, click back to different tabs and go back and forth to make your selection and then make your choice and, find out where it even populated on your sheet. We want this to be way more streamlined. So there'll be some iterative work to get the ability to opt into the optional things and make the choices just directly from those blocks that you see currently for things like languages, ability score increases. Um, yes, that is the goal. So we have those are tickets in our backlog. We knew that this would be an important piece coming after this change. So yes, eventually all of those things will be moved into a much more streamlined interface.
Sweet. And then I guess
Yeah.
uh, uh, we've got a question on sidekicks and the general feature system, um, which I don't know. I apologize, Julie. Uh, how deeply you can jump in and talk to, because I know there's a lot of things in process on there. But a few people are asking about it. MC Evan 66 specifically sidekicks into the integration of the uh, the the to be determined name feature system, I believe.
Yes. To be determined, universal, all seeing, best of all time feature system. Yes. So the idea is that the, this will be, so I think, Pat's talked about this sort of an atoms to molecules to organisms system that will really help allow us to build out any combination of rules that the game throws at us. So sidekicks is something that we honestly haven't talked a lot about that system working uh, like right off the bat with the generic feature best of all time universal feature system. Um, Most likely those two things will sort of evolve parallel to each other. Um, but they will be leveraging each other. The sidekick system, we're not totally sure exactly what that's all going to look like yet. It's sort of still in its like ideas phase and really trying to understand what's going to be the best way to make that tool. But sidekicks will have, spells and feats and features and items and things like that. So they will need to have a lot of the same functional pieces that a character has. And we're really hoping to leverage this generic feature system for the character build. So really makes sense that those things would then support the sidekick system once that kind of gets rolling. I hope that answers that a little bit.
I think it. Yeah, I think it absolutely did. No, thank you so much. Well, this was awesome. Just having you on. Thank you for taking a little bit of time and chatting with us.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you
always
to
great.
all of you. for spending some of your Thursday with us. We really, really appreciate it. Again, apologize for the 2 week break. Just a lot of stuff sort of jumping on us at once. So we're super happy to be back. And we will see you next time. Actually, we'll see you like in a couple hours here on D&D Beyond. But we'll see you next week for another dev update. Send some love to Julie her way. Thank you again so much for being on, and we'll see you guys later. Be safe. Take care of each other. Bye.